What up, sports fans? Happy Monday. Welcome to this new episode of Sports Breakers presented to you by the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Juan, and I'm joined by.
The one and only. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? It was a fun weekend, bunch of football, bunch of sports. Baseball playoffs are getting ready to kick off. WNBA
Playoffs.
playoffs have started. So NHL is in preseason, and then we are a quarter of the way done with college football. Week 5 is getting ready to start in just a few days on Thursday night. But before we go into Week 5, what are some memorable moments from Week 4 this past week? There's a lot of them, man. Oklahoma State Utah game was. Uh, I thought Utah went in there and just punched him right in the mouth
Yeah,
and pretty much was like, "We own this conference now." But Oklahoma State almost came back.
yeah. Utah, even without Cam Rising, and I had talked about that last week. How I felt like if they had Cam Rising, it was going to be a definite win. But without Cam Rising, it was kind of 50-50. They went in there. They played physical. Oklahoma State still struggling to find their run game. Passing game wasn't as good as it could have been, or
I'll
like
tell
it
you where
was
the run
supposed
game
to.
is. I'll tell you exactly where it is. It's back in Arlington in the Big 12 championship at AT&T Stadium because since Texas
It didn't even show up
dominated,
there.
that's what I'm saying. Since Texas put everybody in the box and showed everybody how to stop uh, that running back, everybody else has been doing it. And let me tell you, I don't think he ever was as good as people really thought he was.
Yeah, I kind of said this to my dad Saturday when we were hanging out before the game. Um, Good players can produce at any time. Great players can produce when you're the one that's getting game plan for.
Yeah.
And when you're the one that's getting game plan for and you don't produce, you kind of lose that status, man. Same thing with the running back from Michigan that was on the cover of the video game. Like, yeah, he was good. He had a couple good seasons or a couple good games last year. Played pretty well in the national championship, but you're the focal point of that offense, and you can't really produce. Your backup's producing because he's a different type of player than you are. So I just this when you're great, you're great. When you're good, you struggle when people game plan for you.
Happy birthday, Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, happy birthday.
Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma State is as good as their preseason rank maybe sought them out to be. Even though I heard a lot of people this past week say that that's going to be a rematch for the Big 12 championship.
BYU looked pretty good. I mean,
BYU looked good. K State ended
Kansas
up losing.
Kansas State absolutely demolished Arizona. I'm not saying Arizona's a world beater, but when you're able to put it on Arizona like they did, you kind of show a little bit of dominance. And then for BYU to do what they did in about a 7-minute stretch from that into the first half into the third quarter, dude, that game was electric from about halftime on. So it was a great watch.
And I mean, we got to kind of, can we forget about Colorado just yet?
They they got lucky on a Hail Mary. Baylor is somebody. Yes, Baylor played Utah pretty good, but that was the first game that Cam Rising kind of got hurt. I don't think Baylor's that good, and I think Colorado just kind of squeezed by. I mean, not kind of. They did. They got lucky and squeezed by. They won that game at home that they honestly should have lost if Baylor played the right defense there at the end. He barely got the ball to the end zone. So
Uh, what else kind of surprised you? I want to talk about Texas for just a little bit before we get into the main meat and potatoes of the OU conversation. Was I saw that um, Quinn Ewers is questionable for Saturday's game, and everybody's like, rest him up, just rest him up for, you know,
two
give
weeks.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
OU
I don't,
next week is
I don't, I don't agree with that. I think if he's healthy enough to go, I think he should go in and try to get as many reps as possible. Because I watched. the Texas game Saturday in full. And even though Arch Manning had shines of greatness, man, he is young. He forced the ball a lot. He threw 2 picks. He reminded me of like a young Brett Favre just out there slinging it.
Yeah, I mean,
If Quinn Ewers is available, I say start him against Mississippi State.
yeah, I was kind of debating somebody on this. It's like Arch might, or Arch is better than Jackson Arnold. I'll start there. I was completely wrong about that. Arnold is not. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's not reading defenses like he should. There was a couple passes that were bad, and there was a couple reads that weren't read that could have been big gains. So, but when you're able to fit into an offense that is humming, and you're just kind of you're that last piece to the puzzle, and you can just kind of fit in, you can win those easy games pretty easily. I mean, he had 2 picks. It wasn't perfect. He had 2 touchdowns. It was a good game overall, but there were some mistakes. Does he get those cleaned up? Or when you play against another SEC team, yes, Mississippi State's not that good, but they are 5-star talent. Maybe not all 5-star talent, but they're mid 4-star, high 4-star, kind of across the board at Mississippi State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They're mid to low. They're low tier this year, but they're not some Baylor of the Big 12 a
Right.
couple
So,
years ago.
so what I'm thinking is like, and you still have to kind of give some respect to Jeff Levy's offense, I think, just a little bit.
I
So,
mean,
like,
look at what Levy did last year against Texas defense.
exactly. So, I don't think they should go into this game on their hog horse. I
Yeah.
really do think this could be a trap game a week before their bye, and then 2 weeks before their back-to-back stretch. So I really do think if Quinn's healthy, he needs to at least start. If you get a 3-4 touchdown lead,
Start, set the tone. Yeah.
then maybe you can take him out.
Yeah, I mean, even if Arch goes out there, starts the first series, defense, score a field goal or punt. If the defense goes out there and it's like boom, 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 3 and out, Mississippi State doesn't look like they're even going to be able to, hang on your jock.
Even
Then
though
you can talk about putting Arch in.
they look that way, they looked that way this past week against Florida. Um,
Yeah.
Florida looked like they were just kind of running away with it for a little bit. Um, but yeah, I mean, still Texas had a pretty good outcome. I don't know if you can really say it felt a lot closer than 51-3. I don't know if I can say that. The defense looked phenomenal. The defense has looked phenomenal all 4 weeks.
Which is funny you say that. You say 51-3 felt a lot closer than it should have, and the OU Tennessee game felt like it was 100-4. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
let's get into that. Yeah, but
uh,
like I said, well, before we go on, the Texas defense looked great. It kind of made me feel like maybe the Michigan game wasn't just Michigan being super crappy. Maybe Texas is just kind of decent.
I mean, they beat USC with like 50 passing yards. So
Yeah. Um, so I'm excited for what Texas can do in the future. We'll see on the SEC network this Saturday with Mississippi State. But I agree with you. The OU game felt like it was just 35-0 at one point, and it
yeah,
wasn't.
and for it to feel that way, but it not be that way, I think is a massive credit to how good the defense have played. I mean,
Defense looked phenomenal. They were flying around the ball. They reminded me of the 2000s Ravens defense.
yeah,
They were
it was.
flying around. It felt like they were being a lot harder than they were. Like there were some nasty plays, but there wasn't. They were just that physical.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away the deep crossing route that goes for 64 and Tennessee scores, and then the deep ball to Brew McCoy over across the right side of the field, um, it it was going right to left if you're watching on TV, but for me it was left to right. Um, if you take away a couple of those deep shots, Tennessee fans, people are saying like, "Oh, we weren't doing our hardest to do this or that. We took
I
our foot
saw
off the gas."
that's what I saw. I saw some sports analysts also say that Josh Heupel let up his foot on the gas because of it was being OU.
No, I mean if and there's things that point to that being the opposite. You sit there and watch the post game where Josh Heupel is talking about, thank you for bringing a little bit extra for me for this game. You know, like sitting back and looking at it and thinking, we had the ball at the 5, turn the ball immediately over. We get a turnover on the 35, 40-yard line, immediately turn it over. Jackson throws that early pick where they score off of. If they don't score, I believe it's a field goal that they score off of that, and that's how they get their first 3. So all 3 of his turnovers ended up being their points. They only scored 23 on the defense, which is out on the field pretty much the entire game. We have 105 yards of offense through 3 quarters. And then once Michael Hawkins starts to get a little rhythm, they kind of get a couple of touchdowns on the board. You're telling me that's the number 6 team in the country, and OU had arguably their worst offensive performance in the last 20-something years? Granted, the defense played lights out, but defense travels. So if they can just get a couple things straightened out, and if Michael Hawkins is the answer to that offense, to them not being terrible, you can be average and win some of these games. You almost beat the number 6 team in the country by doing it. You know, Hawkins scored 15 points and a half. Well, 12 points.
I was also surprised by that. I wanted to bring that up to you. 10-point loss at home, and they dropped them 6 spots. They went all the way down to 21.
Deservedly so. If you watch that game and you're like, their offense is atrocious, they're not good, drop them. But at the end of the day, the schedule that's hurting us is also something that can help us. There's one of the tops. We play 5 teams in the top 7. There's one of them. They look pretty good. We have another chance in a couple weeks versus Texas. We have a game this weekend that can really pull us together. You're going into Auburn. Yes, they're not very good. It's a tough place to play, though. And you come out of there with a win and look decent on offense.
And Auburn is one of those teams in the past years. They could look terrible one week, and then the next week they show up and beat Alabama.
They lost to the FCS team, New Mexico, a couple years ago, and I think it might have been last year, and then almost beat Alabama.
Yep.
Alabama had the 4th and 34 or whatever. So they're just because they're bad, Auburn's a weird place to play. I know we haven't experienced it yet, but I've seen it from afar. You go into there with a W and leave with a W, and the defense looks great. Offense looks better than what it was, and you just continue to progress. So even if you go into the Red River and lose, as long as you don't get embarrassed and you continue to progress and the offense looks better that week as well, I'm starting to feel pretty confident and comfortable going forward, but it's still going to be a tough year.
I'll tell you what, with that defense, I don't think Texas is going to run away with that game.
I think it's good, man.
Yeah, I don't think Texas is going to run away with OU. Any game that OU's in this year, I don't think they're going to just get completely smashed just because of the defense. You're going to be in every game until halftime, and then
it's your defense to the offense to do something.
Yeah, your defense is either going to get tired or the offense is going to keep on in the game.
What sucks though is Kendall Dolby out for the year. Obviously, he broke his leg. I'm sure you guys saw it on TV. I haven't watched the game on TV yet, but
speaking of, because look at that, look at those seats. Craig was there live.
Yeah, that was. I was about 7 rows from the field, 40-yard line. It was a lot of Tennessee fans were there. They traveled really well. It was fun though. The Tennessee fans next to us, there's about 8 to 10 of them. We chatted up during the game. You know, we were talking about Brew McCoy, talking about the punters. I mean, we went all over the place with our conversations. They were super nice. The atmosphere was incredible.
It was loud on TV.
For sure, one of the best. Even though we lost and it was frustrating to watch the offense not do anything, knowing that you could still get loud for the defense and have that chance, and knowing the defense was producing. That's the thing too. Yep. It was just like it was a cool time, cool moment. Went with my dad. Uh, Everything was a blast. Yeah,
Not to mention, did you? I know you didn't get to go to game day, but did you watch it? Did you see how fun game day was?
I watched a little bit of game day. I was kind of surprised at how I think people what we feared before the game happened during the game with our offense not being able to do anything. And I think that's why a lot of people sold tickets, and I think that's why Tennessee had so many fans there. If we go into that game with I don't know last year's offense with Dylan Gabriel, healthy wide receiver room, I don't think there's that many Tennessee fans there because there's no tickets available.
So let's talk about that for a minute. There's a quarterback change at halftime. Jackson Arnold lost it due to performance. He had some really great throws in the first 3 games of the season.
Yeah,
Do you think he's starter on Saturday, or are they done?
no, no. At this
They haven't
point,
they haven't announced it yet, but it's
at,
only
at
Monday.
at this point, you ride with Hawkins until he proves that he can't do it. There had been rumors throughout camp that Hawkins outperformed Arnold, but when you go through the whole year last year believing like your whole philosophy is once we're done with this year the keys go to Arnold. He's a 5-star prospect, Gatorade
It's
player of the year.
it's crazy though because during the first 3 games, I've seen it myself. He had some NFL like
he
throws.
he has an arm, but there's
Yeah,
something going on that is making him hesitant. I don't know if it's he feels the pressure.
you know what it is? Is he keeps chewing on that damn mouthpiece and he just doesn't put it in his mouth fully.
I don't know. Steph Curry doesn't have that issue. That's for damn sure. No, it's frustrating because you see the talent, you know that he has it, but I think the pressure mixed with the poor offensive line play, mixed with the poor play calling, I don't think it fits Arnold. I think if Lebby was still here, as much as I hate to say it, I don't want Lebby here. I saw how bad he is with Mississippi State. If Lebby was here, I think that offense is more suited for Arnold than what this offense is. And Gabe Eichert and Teddy Lehman going through their podcast, they completely have tore up the play calling, up and down one side and up another. There's a lot of issues moving forward. I think Brent sees it, understands it. If it happens again this weekend, I'm a little more weary of the rest of the year. But if we see some big time changes this weekend, come out with a W, I feel a little bit better.
It's crazy that Jackson Arnold didn't go with Lebby to Mississippi State. But I think if he loses the starting spot this year, he goes there next year.
There's a big possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into some
And
predictions.
I want to. Dylan Gabriel didn't leave because they told him to leave. I had heard something on the radio today where they clarified it because they were talking about how everybody was like, oh, well, DG should have never left. They went the whole year believing Dylan Gabriel was going to the NFL at the end of the year. Dylan Gabriel believed he was going to the NFL at the end of the year. All of a sudden, his NFL grade comes back. It's not what he wants it to be. Jeff Lebby's at Mississippi State, and OU's like, look, man, we all kind of had this plan. We want you here, but, you know, I think even Dylan Gabriel was like, I kind of want to try something different before. Like, obviously, my grade was this low here. Let me go try something else one more time somewhere else. And I think everybody was just kind of on the same page of like, hey, at the end of the year, this is over. And I think they all kind of agreed with that at the same time. Levy going to Mississippi State, Dylan Gabriel going to Oregon. It all just kind of worked out. It's not like, hey, Arnold's here. We don't want him to leave. You have to go. It was just kind of like an agreement thing the entire year. So
Interesting.
But I when I watched the spring game, I had the same feeling about Hawkins that I did about Caleb that year with the spring game. And I believe I texted you and I said, I think Caleb Williams will be the starter before this season's over.
Yeah, you trashed on Spencer Rattler.
At the spring game, I was like, he did not look good. Caleb looked amazing. And sure enough, Caleb's benched against Texas, or Rattler's benched against Texas. Caleb comes out and it's the end, story's over. I had the same. Not. I don't feel like the gap is that big, but I thought Hawkins looked better. And if the rumors going through camp was that he outperformed Arnold, and maybe Arnold just got it due to seniority because there wasn't that big of a gap, then that kind of sucks, man. You're in the SEC, you can't be playing favorites anymore, and I feel like that's kind of what is holding OU back at the moment. Is they're playing favorites and they're playing friends with their hiring in the offensive side. Brent can hire whoever he wants on the defensive side because Zach Alley's killing it as the defensive coordinator. But offensively, you got to start going and getting dogs.
Is Brent not calling defensive plays?
Brent is it's Zach Alley. Zach
Oh,
Alley is
okay.
a mini Brent Venables. The way he talks, the way he walks, demeanor, everything. He literally learned his defensive style from just watching Brent at Clemson, and dude's a stud. Brent might chime in here and there and say, "Hey, we're in this position. Maybe let's do this." But down in, down out, it's Zach Alley.
I learned something in college football this weekend. I didn't realize that you only had until the 15-second mark on the play clock to get your play in, or
Through the headset.
the
Yeah.
headset cuts off once
Yep.
it hits 15 seconds. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Friday Night Lights, Virginia Tech, number 7 Miami. Any chance of an upset?
No, Miami is legit. Give me Miami.
Kentucky at Ole Miss. Kentucky almost shocked Georgia. Do they do it against Ole Miss this Saturday?
No, I think Ole Miss is a well-oiled machine when it comes to being good offensively. I think they outscore them.
Same. I'll go Miami. I'll go Ole Miss. Minnesota at number 12 Michigan.
This one's tough because Michigan did just beat USC, but I believe that was a Lincoln Riley special and losing a big game where you're not supposed to lose it. I'll say Michigan just because that's the easier bet, but I would not be surprised if Minnesota walks out of there with a W.
I'll go Michigan too. Mississippi State at Texas. Mississippi State's 1-3. Texas 4-0. Texas defense looks good. It doesn't matter who's at quarterback. I think that defense just eats up Mississippi State.
Yeah, trap game or not, I think Texas wins that.
This should be a fun one. 11 a.m. Oklahoma State at Kansas State. It's tough to play in Kansas State.
You got two programs that are fighting to not go 0-2 in the Big 12. You go 0-2 in the Big 12 this year, I think you're done. You're not. There's no chance of coming back. Give me Kansas State.
This is a tough one. I want to show some sympathy towards Mike Gundy, but I think you might as well just stick a fork in Gundy. I think his time is done. He's outlived his.
I know in previous years you could sit there and say like Oklahoma State looks trash, then all of a sudden they'll turn it on. I don't think that's this year. I think there's really some issues going on, and I don't think they change it this weekend.
Who's that quarterback too? Old Sunshine for Kansas State too.
Johnson.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's going to do good. Give me Kansas State. It wouldn't surprise me either if Kansas State blows them out of the water.
Kansas State blew them out of the water 2 years ago. Yeah.
BYU at Baylor. BYU is a sneaky 4-0.
Yeah, sneaky. At the start of the year, I did not think they would be 4-0. Give me Baylor or BYU by 14.
Oof. I don't know if it's going to be that much, but I picked BYU as well.
I think Baylor's at a crossroads right now with their program. I think they're falling apart.
At USC.
Wisconsin's very similar to Michigan. Power style offense. They got a little bit better passing.
Is their quarterback still hurt though?
I don't know who's at quarterback for Wisconsin. That's why I was going to say give me USC.
I'll take USC as well. This one should be fun. It's a Peacock exclusive. 15 Louisville at 16
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, give me Notre Dame. I think that defense will be the difference in that game. I don't think Louisville is that good. I don't think they're 15th in the country.
Arkansas at A&M, Texas A&M.
Texas A&M barely beat Bowling Green. Arkansas has looked very good at spots. I think that they should be 4-0 in this moment. Give me Arkansas.
Oof. I think Texas A&M gets it together at home. I like Texas A&M for the win at home.
Texas A&M did just bench their starting quarterback,
Oof.
so I don't know what they're going to look like offensively.
Ohio State at Michigan State.
Give me the old Buckeyes.
Michigan State big. They're 25-point favorites.
Yeah, well, I think Ohio State handles them. Yeah,
Stanford, yeah, I'll go Ohio State too. Stanford at Clemson.
Clemson
Clemson looked
big.
good.
Clemson
Yeah,
big.
Clemson big. Iowa State 3-0 at Houston. Houston's 1-3. I'm gonna go Iowa State.
Iowa State. I don't think it. I think it's a close game. For some reason, Houston just can keep things close. Yeah, give me Iowa State, but it's close.
Number 21 Oklahoma at Auburn. 2:30 game on ABC.
First person to reach 15 points. uh, I think OU gets some things together this weekend with Michael Hawkins. I think you Auburn has a lot of issues right now. Yes, it's going to be a big time game for them just because it's OU and it's somebody new. Crowd's going to be electric. Maybe they can have some juice. As long as OU keeps it close in the first half, they come out with a win. They just can't let it get away from them.
Yeah, this game is tough. Like I said, it depends on which Auburn shows up. That defense from Oklahoma can show up, and I still think that they're in the game. I like this to be a old ice bowl score. Give me like a
It,
12 to give me a 12-6 game. I'll take Oklahoma.
we have to think about this though as well. Hurricane whatever is coming in, and I think it's going to affect at least be raining. So just be prepared for a full blown rain game. So defensively, I would put up our defense against their run game more so than their defense against our run game, even though our run game is not very good.
Black
I
their
like ours to be able to create turnovers, and I think that's the difference.
Yeah, I'll take Oklahoma in a close defensive game. Illinois at Penn State, both undefeated. Give me Illinois. Give me the juice.
No, I'm gonna take Drew Aller and Penn State.
And then the only game that should matter now: Georgia at Alabama. Number 2 at number 4. Who you got?
This is tough, man. I don't know. I don't know what to make out of either of those teams. Is Kentucky good? Is Kentucky not good? They score 40 on Ohio. They score 12 on Georgia, and they almost beat them. Are they good defensively? Are they not good defensively? Is Georgia good? Is
Give me. I'll help you out with this one. Give me Alabama on the toes of Milroe. I like to see him run the football. He lost some weight in the offseason. He looked really good against Wisconsin.
yeah? Give me Bama 27-17.
NFL Monday Night Football is going on. The first game is at
Yeah,
least Buffalo is handling the Jacksonville Jaguars 20-3 right now.
sadly.
Um, yeah, I picked Jacksonville last week. And then right now the Commanders are tied with the Bengals 7-7. But let's talk NFL Week 4. The teams that we thought were crappy and would amount to nothing in Week 3 won yesterday.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a Uno reverse weekend.
yeah. Um, let's start off Thursday night. 2 days from today. The Cowboys at the Giants. They were both 1-2.
Uh, I honestly don't know what to make of the Cowboys. Uh, give me the Cowboys, even though, yeah, just give me the Cowboys. I'm not going to expand on that. I think it's both teams are going to struggle. Both teams are struggling. Both teams are 1-2. But I'll take the Cowboys.
If Dallas can bounce back from anything, I'm glad it's a game against the Giants. Um, Steelers at the Colts. Steelers are 3-0, but a lot of people still believe that the Steelers are trash. I like that
Um,
defense though. I'm gonna go Pittsburgh.
I'm going to go Pittsburgh as well. I think the defense is pretty good. The Chargers weren't an easy win by all means. That was a good football team that they played, and they came out with a win. So give me the Steelers to go 4-0.
The Broncos got a win. The 1-2 Broncos at the Jets. Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers looked. Aaron Rodgers looked good.
give me the Jets. We all thought maybe that Patriots defense would be able to slow them down a little bit. Rodgers just kind of did whatever he wanted to in that game. They didn't score a lot of points, but he did what he wanted to. I think they do something similar against the Broncos.
I'm gonna go with the Jets as well. The Vikings, a surprising 3-0 at the Packers. They
Oh,
manhandled the Houston Texans.
Sam Darnold.
Yep.
Yeah, give me the Vikings. Little Darnold magic right now.
I think it depends on who's at quarterback for the Packers. I think Jordan Love is still out because it's in Green Bay, but I like to see Minnesota come out with a win. I'm gonna go Minnesota. Saints at Falcons. Saints didn't look so good against the Eagles, and the Falcons choked like they normally do. Uh, I'm gonna go Saints on the road.
Saints at Falcons. Ooh. Yeah, the Saints struggled mightily this past weekend, but I think they bounced back. Give me the Saints.
Eagles at the Buccaneers. It's like what quarterback do you trust more?
I think that was just a bad weekend for the Buccaneers. I still think the Eagles have more problems than not. Give me the Buccaneers this weekend.
I am completely. I don't know what to believe in the NFL anymore this year. It's week 4, and it feels like we're in the middle of the season already. Um, but I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I like Tampa Bay at home. Cincinnati at the Panthers. Old Andy Dalton came in and looked like Peyton Manning from years past.
Oh, Red Rocket.
And
Um,
the Bengals are struggling right now as we speak.
yeah, against the Commanders. Um, yeah, I still think the Panthers are the Panthers. Um, I think Andy Dalton does this like every year where he comes in and fills in for a game is amazing, and then he progressively kind of comes back down to earth. I think it starts next week. Give me Cincy.
Oh, man, I want to believe in Joe Burrow. Um, and I'm going to stick with him, man. I think they sneak out with a win somehow tonight, and then I think they get back on track against the Panthers. They still should have beat the Chiefs the other day.
Yeah,
Um, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Houston Texans. Jacksonville always plays them tough, man. I don't know what Houston was doing last week against Minnesota, but in Houston, give me Houston.
same. Give me Houston.
L.A. Rams at the Bears. I think the Rams have their way with Chicago in this one.
Yeah, Caleb Williams just can't get out of his own way, man. Give me the Rams.
The Commanders at the Cardinals. The Cardinals are one of the top 5 offensive teams in the league right now. In Arizona, in the toaster oven, give me Arizona over the Commanders.
Same. Give me the Cards.
This one should be fun. I think this one could be a fun defensive game. New England at the 49ers in San Francisco. Um, as much as I hate the 49ers, I'm going to go New England Patriots.
Give me you're going Patriots or you're going Niners?
I'm going Patriots.
Yeah, give me the Patriots as well. I think this past weekend they just kind of stumbled across a team that might have had their number due to familiarity. But yeah, I think the Patriots go into San Fran and get a dub.
This looks like the most boringest game of all time. The Cleveland Browns at the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me the Browns.
Give me the Raiders.
Raiders. Uh, CBS. I think this is a Tony Romo game. Kansas City Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers.
Give me
Brolin.
Give me the Chiefs and the refs.
Yeah, I'll go with the refs in this one. Chiefs got it. Sunday night game. This is another good one. The Buffalo Bills look like they're on the way to be 3-0. We'll go on the road against the Baltimore Ravens. Give me the
Uh,
Bills.
3-0 going in to be 4-0.
Yeah,
Give me the Bills.
I thought the Ravens were going to be a lot better than they showed, even
Yeah,
against Dallas in the second half. They showed their true colors.
yeah.
Ravens are not as good as that
They're not
28 to
dynamic.
6.
No,
That 28-6 lead was more of Dallas's fault than it was the Ravens doing good.
agreed. And the Bills just scored again. So, me hoping and praying that Josh Allen had a down night is a complete opposite, as he is 18 of 23 for 208 yards and 3 touchdowns right before halftime. So 28-3 lead for them over the Jags.
I don't know why they're having doubleheader Monday night games, but next Monday is another doubleheader. The Titans at the Dolphins, and then the Seahawks at the Lions next Monday. I got the Titans in Miami,
I agree. I think they get their first win there.
and then you got Seattle at Detroit. As much as I like Seattle to stay undefeated, I'm going to go with Detroit in Detroit with this one.
Give me the Lions.
So
Yep. Lions have a pretty good home field advantage going on right now, even though they just lost to the Bucks not too long ago. And I think the Lions to get it done at home.
does it not feel the same way with you? Like we're about to go finish up and go watch Monday Night Football, but this NFL season, just 3 weeks in, it feels like a complete mess.
Yeah,
Team, Teams that are supposed to look good aren't looking good. I think maybe that's due to a shorter preseason. The Dallas Cowboys yesterday looked off. CeeDee Lamb looked off, but hey, when you're a diva wide receiver and you take the entire preseason off and you don't come into camp, you're gonna be off.
don't
You
talk
know,
about CD like that.
it hurts my heart. Believe me.
Well, don't, as Dak Prescott, don't go over to the sideline and say we don't have enough help. We don't have wide receivers when you're taking up a third of your freaking salary cap.
Hey, Tolbert looked good yesterday. Tolbert was catching some balls from Prescott. He looked
Well,
good. CD is just off right now. I think in about 4 weeks, when we hit midseason, they could start putting up some scary numbers.
they Cowboys are a mess right now because it's at the top. It's a mess at the top. That's all. That's all it is. Watch,
Uh,
watch as soon as Jerry Jones croaks and that freaking franchise goes to somebody else that's not a Jones. They're going to win a Super Bowl. If as long as that franchise is owned by somebody in the Jones family and they make all the decisions, they're not going anywhere.
mm, hurts my heart. But to me, the NFL season just feels off right now.
Everything feels off right now. College football.
Not in the city of Austin, baby. Let me tell you that.
Well,
Let me
that's
tell
why
you
it
that
feels off right now.
it does not feel off in Austin. I'll tell you that.
OU has an elite defense and a shitty offense. Things are off right now.
Hey, isn't that how they won the national championship in 2000 though?
Well, we at least had a quarterback.
Bobby Hill.
Yeah. Uh, man. Yeah. We gave up everything to have an elite defense again. That sucks.
SmackDown is in Oklahoma City this Friday, so that's where I'll be.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
can catch me at the Paycom Center tomorrow. Starts a new season of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. We kick it off with wrong one. We kick it off with Sleepy Hollow tomorrow, and we also talk our top 5 Tim Burton movies, which should be fun. So, uh, other than that, man, I think that'll do it. We'll go catch some Monday Night Football. Um, what do you got? You gonna go to another? You gonna go to another game this weekend?
No.
NBA preseason starts soon.
NBA preseason. Yeah, if OU loses this weekend, I'm going to be a diehard basketball fan
There you
moving
go.
forward. No,
Uh,
the Thunder have a really good shot this year. I'm excited for the season.
The Deliverance is going to be the next episode on Friday the 14th podcast on Thursday. That movie is streaming on Netflix. If you need something to watch, go check that out. I'm also watching Untold, the Steve McNair death documentary. Have you seen that yet?
I have not.
That's pretty interesting. It's kind of sad. Wednesday, the Vince McMahon Netflix documentary kicks off. I'm excited about that. So
Vince McMahon.
yeah. Other than that, man, I think that might be it, and we'll head out and go catch some Monday Night Football.
Yep, catch the end of the first half of Washington, and then as soon as that halftime is kind of going, then you'll get the Bills, even though they're destroying the Jags. But hey,
There
football's
we go.
football right now.
There we go. All right, guys, enjoy this weekend coming up. We will talk to you guys next Monday. Uh, as we, it'll kind of be a slower, maybe a slower episode. I don't know. Texas and OU will have an off game, but we'll talk the winner of Alabama Georgia next Monday on an all new episode. Uh, check us out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, also, don't forget, hit us up on the social media, facebook.com/the Cinema Movie Podcast, and we will hang out and talk Sleepy Hollow tomorrow.
If you go to games, send in your pictures. We want to see them. We want to see the different stadiums, the different views, what you guys are seeing every weekend. That was my weekend about 2 hours before kickoff.
Hell yeah.
We got there super early. It was hot.
I'll send in some Friday Night SmackDown photos. There we go. But yeah, send us in some photos. I like that idea. See y'all next week. Have a safe week. Hook 'em.